What is causing a mass gathering of whales outside of Nantucket?
Will we have a major breakthrough regarding alien life in the next couple of years?
Who planted another mirrored monolith outside of Las Vegas? And what does it mean?
All of that and more is coming up on June 2024's Bizarre News. What's up, everyone? Welcome to this month's Bizarre News. We got some stories for you.
It's been a crazy month. Tyler's been away on vacation.
I've been away. I've been baking under the heat, but not, even though you'd expect it to be a little hotter in North Carolina, Ohio was...
I melted. I legitimately melted while you were gone.
His wife had to put it back together in the freezer.
Yeah, I was like a snowman. It was so hot. But you know what? That was the past. Let's talk about what actually happened around the world. Do you remember those strange mirrored monoliths that appeared around the country several years back? A new tower has entered the chat. About 20 miles north of Las Vegas, the Vegas Search and Rescue Department spotted an object near Grass Peak and north of the valley. In 2020, several of these things were found in Utah, Texas, California, Florida, and other places. It seems the intensity of lockdown drove this artistic expression, later claimed by the art collective movement, the most famous artist. Many believed that these were actually signs from aliens when they started to arrive. Was it aliens or artists? Who knows? It seems that they have snuck up again in Las Vegas, and maybe they will find more. So the mirrored monoliths are back.
Mirrors.
Do you remember these in 2020?
No, I don't.
You don't? It's crazy to me because it was such a big thing.
I don't.
I feel like we talked about... We didn't have Bizarre News back then.
Yeah, no, we didn't. These
are mirrored monoliths. So, a monolith is a tall...
How tall?
Pointed. Depends on the monolith. Because the one in
How tall are these ones?
These are 6-7 feet tall. These are
tall.
not... These are...
It's pretty tall.
Compared to a person. But, the one in Washington, D.C., the George Washington Monument, that's an obelisk.
It's very tall.
That is a very tall one.
So these came out during the pandemic originally, and now they're back.
Yeah, so essentially in 2020, they started appearing out of nowhere. People thought they were aliens. They were spying on us. But the thing about them is they're almost invisible because they're mirrored.
Yeah, so you wouldn't the way they would reflect, you wouldn't see them very easily.
No, you wouldn't. And
would you just run smack into it and you're like, what the?
You would definitely see it before you ran into it. But they first appeared in Utah.
Okay.
Of all places.
I
don't. It's just strange to me.
Some jazz fans. I feel like you run into it and think it's like a weird cloaking device, but it's just mirrors. So it's claimed by the most famous artist, which is a collective.
It's an art collective. So people who are artists. So they claimed it back in 2020. They have not claimed this one yet.
There's some pissed off aliens out there. Whoa,
that was ours.
This ain't common collectives here. Come on, this is our piece. Maybe they were gonna come down and hang out with us, and they're like, oh, this COVID shit.
And then that's disgusting.
They're just we'll just leave this here. And pass. It's like when you go to a birthday party and you don't want to stay long, you just leave the present.
They just left the present and they did an Irish exit.
Yep. Is that just?
That's where you leave without saying anything.
Yeah,
and that's what they did.
I think they're pissed though. I think this is ours and we want credit
because
for
they're being claimed.
Yeah.
By the. Well, okay. So if it's the most famous artist, what is the benefit of claiming this?
Well, if it's aliens, and I mean you can't. It's like if they're lost and found, right? Wallets and lost and found. No one claims it. They're like, well, I guess it's mine. I look like the person in this driver's license.
So let's say it is aliens, but the most famous artist collective does claim it, and then the government discovers there's alien technology inside the monolith. What are they going to say?
Well, then the conspiracy is that the most famous artists are aliens. Yeah. I think we solved this puzzle in 5 minutes.
I don't know. I'm very interested to see if they claim this one.
According to the so-called living Nostradamus, Athos Salome, we discover alien life without a shadow of a doubt between 2026 and 2028. We went from storming Area 51 just a few years ago to now we can schedule in our Google Calendar a nice evening out with E.T. In a few years, that is. Apparently, This Brazilian mystic has accurately foreseen COVID-19, Elon Musk purchasing Twitter, and Queen Elizabeth's death. The second one. Salome's claim is a new frontier in biological exploration, which will occur when NASA and the ESA, the European Space Agency, make a groundbreaking discovery. The discovery will occur near one of Jupiter's moons, where researchers will encounter microorganisms showcasing biological intricacy. Here's a quote from Salome. These entities are poised to challenge our understanding of life. They serve as evidence that life can thrive in environments under different biochemical circumstances than those we are familiar with. All right, so we got Salome. I think that's sounds right. And he's predicted apparently COVID-19 and solar flares, which I didn't mention in here, but I watched a video and apparently that happened. Queen Elizabeth's death. And now he's saying in 2026 to 2028, we will prove the aliens exist. What do you say?
This man looks like he belongs in a punk band.
He's got, let me say a nice thing, and then he's got a very defined jaw, like very defined. Yeah. He looks a little like The Weeknd in that Save Your Tears video.
I don't know. I don't trust him. He's got that neck tattoo.
Well, what do you think about his theory about the aliens and Jupiter? And
I think it's, okay. I don't think he's making waves with this prediction because this has been a theory that's been around for a long time. Yes.
Why Jupiter?
Well, because the moons of Jupiter have been predicted to have this atmosphere where life could prosper. Okay. So this is not a new thing that he's saying. So I think it's a safe prediction.
It's also a little safe in that it's not like aliens are going to come down here and like provide wisdom, like open Chick-fil-A on Sundays.
It's just microorganisms.
It's just micro little. I mean, you would assume that would exist.
Exactly. Which is, it is still breaking ground on something new that's never been discovered, which is still amazing, but it's also very safe. Like, we're looking for technology amongst the stars. Like, do you remember last month we talked about Dyson spheres?
Yes,
Dyson technology amongst the stars. So the idea that there is life in our solar system is not insane. It is very cool. It's something we have not had proof of before, but it's a very safe prediction.
If someone came out with a shadow of a doubt, if like maybe this is me being so accustomed to crazy stories that we tell on the podcast, but if someone was like, we found bacteria on this moon, my world would not be rocked. Maybe it's because I already anticipate the universe is so large. I assume that there would be something else out there. That it'd be cool, I guess, to say factually that happens or that exists, but it wouldn't rock my world.
The coolest thing about bacteria on the planet is the idea that it's not carbon-based.
Yeah.
Humans are carbon-based life forms. The idea that there's another element-based life form, like silica, would be insane. So, like...
There's just one nasty-ass cold there in Jupiter, and we're like, oh, look, we just...
That's
sick for days.
War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
There's no way...
Well, that's how we kill them.
Yeah, well, we'd be the invaders at that point, and therefore deserve it.
We teach our children, don't cover your mouth when you cough around the aliens.
That's right. Outside of Nantucket, an oddity has been seen. It's not an alien spaceship or a unique comet, but instead, if you look down toward the ocean, you would have seen about 160 whales of all kinds in Provincetown Harbor. Scientists admit they may have double counted some whales, but this amount of different kinds of whales is very unusual. The large school may slow or even stop water travel in the area. They counted, quote, 93 sei whales, 63 humpback whales, 21 fin whales, and also some mink, some sperm, and some right whales, plus 2 orcas. These whales are all very different, making this group even more strange. And they even have different diets, from plankton to giant squid. Until these whales decide to leave, the whale watchers of the area are enjoying the spectacle. So a whale of a tail.
A whale of a tail. This is like taking the fun out of whale watching because it's like a guarantee almost, right? It's like there they are.
I think the fun of whale watching is seeing the whales. So
yeah, but it's like fishing. It's like fishing in a pool rather than like an ocean or like a lake.
I think they're pretty content to see these
whales. I'm jealous. I want to see these whales. Okay, I want to go.
The heart of
I don't want to be so close to them though. Have you seen the videos where like people are like, we're out here looking at stuff, and then a whale just belly flop, and just waves. Like, if you have these many whales there, I mean, there's a lot of body slams waiting for you.
But the two orcas too, those are a little dangerous because recently orcas have been known to
attack ships.
Yeah, and it's some kind of teenage trend amongst orcas.
Do you know what they're doing to counter that?
Are they giving the orcas bikinis to distract them?
No, although I could see how that would work. I heard they're blasting like heavy metal.
Really?
Like there's playlists, like heavy metal playlists that they're having sent off from their boats to drive orcas away so they won't bash them.
They don't like Cannibal Corpse?
Nope.
Oh, that's interesting.
But I'm sure they love A Day to Remember's new song.
Very mild.
Also, I lose track of counting things regularly.
Yeah.
And if we have whales moving, I don't blame these scientists for double counting.
I would.
There's probably like 14 of them.
14 scientists just counting?
No, I'm saying I would lose track.
Oh, there's probably
of
only
these
14
whales. There's probably only 14 whales. Like 1, 2. Did he just 1, 2, 90?
93.
93.
Sei whales. Have you heard of that kind of whale before?
Never.
They're like, you think of a whale, that's the kind of whale you think of.
I think of Shamu.
Oh, that's an orca. Orcas are more related to dolphins than whales, actually.
That's true.
Yeah.
This would be really cool to see, though. It would be cool to see this many whales. I heard Nantucket's... I think they're just vacationing. Like, why are these whales going there? They have different diets. Giant squid are, like, apparently prey to these big whales.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think is causing these whales to congregate?
I mean, so one of my fears when I read this story is, like, what if it's, like, something, like, calling them to this area? Like, it's something, like, seismic we don't know.
Or is it making him run away? By run, you know what I mean.
Well,
is it making him...
Maybe, and they're all gathering in this location. Like, just watch, like, there's this giant USO that appears, right? Unidentified submarine. Submerged object. Because of these whales gathering. Like, I don't know. I guess that's my fear.
There's once every 10,000 years is the Great Whale Party. And we didn't get an invite.
No, we don't. Well, no, we wouldn't have gotten an invite.
They're all like, and then a human comes by, like,
don't tell them.
It's cool though. Hopefully, it's nothing crazy.
I don't think it is. I just think they're all just like hanging out.
Time. Like, I heard it's great this time of year.
Like,
they have great seafood.
Did you hear Bob's retiring?
Yeah, so it's just a whale party. Nothing sinister happening. Listen up. I have some exciting news. Except for the 15 million of you that live in New York, Miami, LA, or Charlotte, North Carolina, aka places with high light pollution. For the first time since 1946, a star about 3,000 light years away from our solar system will become visible to the naked eye. Not only that, but it also shouldn't be that hard to find. The Blaze star is expected to brighten up to the intensity of the North Star between June and September of this year, 2024. So how can you find it? On any clear night, find the stars of the Big Dipper high in the northern sky. Follow the Big Dipper's handle of stars in a curve to Arcturus, a bright reddish star above the eastern horizon. That's the famous arc to Arcturus star hop. It's a mouthful. Rising in the east to northeast will be Vega. Now look between Arcturus and Vega, slightly closer to Arcturus, for a faint curl of 7 stars, Corona Borealis. It will be high overhead at dark. I realize this is as bad as when someone gives us a blueprint to talk about their house on our podcast. So if you're listening, I apologize. But if you're watching on YouTube, then you can look at this awesome graphic that was made by not me, which will tell you how to find it. And though you won't be able to see the Blaze star yet, it should become clearly visible before summer's end. Also, sincere condolences to Charlotte. I love your state. I love North Carolina. But to be one of the worst light pollution cities and have to watch Bryce Young play quarterback are 2 egregious crimes against your eyeballs. So we got a star, Charlie. We can see a star that is visible to our eyeballs.
Can you point it to me on the graphic?
Yeah, you see between, you got Hercules on the left.
Yeah.
And you got Boots
Boots
on the right. And then you see that little like horseshoe looking thing.
Yes.
And there's that one that's lit up that says Corona Borealis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for.
That's what we're looking at?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I suppose it's basically with the Blaze star is that it's nearing the, but it like cycles through like brightness.
This is very cool. Is it a new star? Is it star like having a supernova? Like,
I think it's a star that might not be around. New is in like new to our eyeballs.
Right.
But it was like it goes in waves. Like the brighter it is, the more intense it gets, and the closer it gets to, the end. But
it is 300 million light years away, right?
3,000.
3,000 light years away.
3,000 light years away.
So this is about 3,000.
So it was
years
bright.
behind
It was
us.
bright in the 40s, and then it got dim, and I think it was in 2015. It started coming back a little bit.
Okay.
And also, you should be able to see with like binoculars or a telescope or things like that. But basically, they're saying it'll be about the brightness of the North Star around June to September.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I need to try and see it because I'm not one that can just be like, oh, Hercules.
I'd like to see it.
Awesome. Can we talk about Charlotte really quick?
Charlotte, sure. Yeah.
I was just you can say, go ahead.
No, I will try to find the star.
I was just in North Carolina, and it was full moon, so I did not get to see my Milky Way, unfortunately. Everyone was like, ooh, full moon on the beach. I want to see Milky Way, and I couldn't. But there are a lot of stars there. But it's a crazy thing that Charlotte is considered one of the worst cities when it comes to light pollution.
It is interesting. You know, it's funny. There's a lot of stars everywhere. We just don't always see them.
Oh,
They're always there.
They're always there. They're like ghosts. They're just watching you.
Is this star going to change any constellations or anything like that?
No.
No, it's just going to be brighter.
Yeah, you're just going to be able to see it
It's
more.
almost like a pimple in the sky.
I've actually had the thought before, like, because I love the Big Dipper, because one, it's easy to find, but two, it's just cool. But like, you look at it, just imagine like you look up and all of a sudden one of the stars are gone.
Yeah,
like that'd be so depressing.
It'd be weird.
That'd be so depressing.
It would feel like another timeline or another parallel dimension or something. I never really got the idea of constellations. Like, I don't see.
There's a lot of imagination.
I don't see them. Like, Hercules is barely a box. That's just me.
There was
Maybe
no.
I'm over
There
not
was
thinking hard
no
enough.
Roku.
Right.
There was no sports.
I know a big reason why they made them, or they designed the ideas and the stars was for guidance for traveling.
Mm-hmm.
And
like the Big Dipper, like in spring it comes down because it's like plants and things like that.
Well, even if like you have like the app, right? You look up with the stars in the app. That's even hard for me to see.
Well, it'll be like 3 lines, and then the app will be like, "Look, it's a snake."
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's a fish doing a backflip. It's like, what? I guess, but
they take some liberties.
They were very creative back then. A UFO investigator believes that an ancient Scottish circle could have been a defense position from aliens. On the Bay of Skara, in the Orkney Islands, sits Skara Brae. It is a Neolithic, which I think means old, and it's believed to be occupied from, quote, roughly 3,180 BC to about 2,500 BC. In the circle sits 10 homes that are clustered together, and they're made of flagstone. It's argued that Skara Brae was developed because aliens kept visiting. According to paranormal investigator Ron Halliday, he said, quote, there are some picture stones with pictures of folk kind of fleeing away from these things. I thought that maybe this kind of thing represents an attack from the sky, end quote. He also said, based off the evidence, that, quote, these structures could represent something entirely different from what archaeologists thought they were, end quote. And he also said that the towers may be a signal to aliens like the pyramids. Skara Brae is a defense position against aliens.
I've never heard of this. Is the Scottish Circle just this like well-known thing?
No,
no. We're gonna go to Scotland.
No, it's Skara Brae.
Did you go to the Scottish Circle?
I did not. No.
Oh.
There are many places I did not go in Scotland.
And this is one.
This is one of them. This is it's way on the top there.
Oh.
It's way like the archipelago.
So is this the idea that it's like a defense, like a
circle of defense?
A circle. It's like the two towers.
Oh. Yeah, okay. It's kind of like dug into the ground rather than going up.
But it's high? It's high and then it goes...
Yes, it's both. It's high and down.
It's like you climb all the way up, like, oh, that wasn't too bad, and you gotta climb all the way down?
Yes.
I can see why they would think aliens. They just like, sure,
it is,
put down.
It is a beautiful, like, ruins. It's a pretty place.
I don't want to gloss over the fact that pyramids being a signal to aliens is just like an assumption. It's like a fact.
He did throw that out.
And by the way, maybe it's this, because we all know that's what the pyramids are. I'm not saying that's wrong. But you can't just come out there and say, "Oh yeah, by the way."
Yeah, he did say the pyramids are also signals. Like we all knew that.
So when this says pictostones, is that like saying like petroglyphs?
I think so. I think it's
because that's pretty cool.
Types of like drawings.
Yeah,
I think almost like cave drawings, but on flagstone instead.
It's just a person hiding there, and then a big alien, and then getting in their spaceship and flying away. And like archaeologists are like, it couldn't mean anything.
It says it's running from the sky, which is crazy.
You've never ran from the sky before?
No, it's everywhere.
They see one shooting star, and they're like, we gotta get out of here. Build it and then build it down.
I don't think so. I think
build it up and build it down.
Maybe it was a defense position to like hanker down against these aliens. Although I feel like if aliens really were invading, there's nothing that we could build to stop them, especially back then.
So is it actually built out of like material, or is it just a naturally? It's not naturally occurring.
It's a flagstone, so it's types of cut stone.
And they built it that long ago? They're just like using rocks and other stuff and just like...
They probably use bronze and sand to grind the stone down.
No 3D printer?
What if they did? What if I said yes?
I rolled. Hey, pyramids are a signal to aliens, and they used 3D printers back in 3180 BC.
I bet that's what they did.
I think that's what went down. So that is our bizarre news for June of 2024. 5 exciting, strange news stories. But if you're like, oh, I wish there were like 3 more, you can get that if you go over on Patreon and you join, and it helps support the podcast. But 2, you also get 3 more bizarre news stories.
Exact itch you were craving for.
Exactly.
It's over there.
It's like 1, 2, 3.
Also, you are seeing it's not a new tie, but it's a giraffe tie. Yours is the same the whole way, but mine is giraffes in the bottom.
That's
That's
my son's favorite animal. But thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you, and stay tuned for next month's Bizarre News.